one lady's got $1.8 million that she owes to the federal government because she's not leaving. You issued notices to 4,500 migrants with penalties totaling more than $500 million total. Leave voluntarily or self-deport. The details of the plan were first reported in April. They include levying fines of $998 per day for migrants who failed to leave after they got a deportation order.
It could increase. For me, that is absolutely nuts.
$1,000 a day fines now underway. NBC News is reporting on this, and one lady's got $1.8 million that she owes to the federal government because she's not leaving. She's got a deportation order to leave, and wow, this is a sob story if you've ever heard one. So get your box of Kleenex because it's about to be sob story illegal alien time. Says the steep fines are part of Trump's aggressive push to get immigrants in the U.S. illegally to leave or self-deport. And here's the story. Watch this. Wendy Ortiz, basically an angel from heaven, was surprised to find out that she was being fined by U.S. immigration authorities for being in the country illegally. Guess how much? $1.8 million, baby. That's a big one. Ortiz is 32. She earns $13 an hour in her job. She does a meatpacking plant job in Pennsylvania. She's lived in the United States for a decade illegally, fled El Salvador, which is not much better now, to escape a violent ex-partner, and gang threats. She said in an interview and in immigration paperwork. Now, her salary barely covers her rent and expenses for this, her autistic 6-year-old U.S. citizen son. So she came over, had an anchor baby son, and he's got autism. She said, "It's not fair. Where is someone going to find that much money?" In the last few weeks, well, I don't know. She's going to have to pack a lot more meat, I guess. Says U.S. President Trump has started to operationalize a plan to find migrants who fail to leave the U.S. You got a final deportation order. I hate NBC. You've got a final deportation order, and you issued notices to 4,500 migrants with penalties totaling more than $500 million total. That's a lot, said one senior Trump official who wanted anonymity to talk about the numbers. Reuters spoke with 8 immigration lawyers around the country who said their clients have been fined from several $1,000s to over $1.8 million. The recipients of the notices were informed they got 30 days to contest this stuff in writing under oath and present evidence as to why the penalty should not be imposed. These are steep fines, trying to get them to leave voluntarily or self-deport. The details of the plan were first reported in April. They include levying fines of $998 per day for migrants who failed to leave after they got a deportation order. Judge said, you gotta go. They're not going. Fines start accruing. The government would then consider seizing the property of immigrants who could not pay. It remains unclear how Trump is actually going to collect the fines. Like, obviously, she's not going to come up with $1 million. The fines reviewed by Reuters were issued by Customs and Immigration, but a separate agency called CBP has been asked to process them and handle the forfeitures. Now, they're still working out the complicated logistics to conduct the seizures, they say, but Homeland did not respond to a request for comment. Spokesperson Tricia from Ohio said in April that immigrants in the U.S. illegally should just self-deport, leave the country right now. The fine goes all the way back to a 1996 law that was enforced for the first time in 2018 during Trump's first term to target 1.4 million illegals who have been ordered deported by a judge. Migrants ordered deported. Illegals. The Trump administration withdrew fines of hundreds of thousands of dollars against 9 migrants illegals who sought sanctuary in churches in his first term after legal challenges, but proceeded with smaller penalties, and then Joe came in and dropped the fines. A New York City lawyer called Robert Scott said he was baffled when one of his clients, a low-income Mexican woman who lived in the U.S. for 25 years, got a $1.8 million fine. He says, at first you look at something like this and think it's fake. No, it's not. I've never seen a client receive anything like this. Well, the law is the law. No one's above the law. Not even illegal El Salvadorians who were fleeing pupusa attacks. Scott said the woman received the final deportation order in 2013, but she didn't know about it at the time. The woman filed a motion last year to reopen the removal order, which is still pending. She hasn't been hiding, he said. I find it curious they would pick on someone like that. I don't know if it's random. I don't know if she's low-hanging fruit. I don't know. Well, no, she's illegal. That's the point. She's got an order to leave by a judge. She got all of her due process. Now, I guess she didn't get enough notice. Somebody should have come to her house and just made her read it. And that would have been maybe enough notice for her. After crossing the border in 2015, Ortiz was released to pursue her claim of asylum. Yeah, when an officer found she had credible fear. Yeah, said the documents. But she said she never received an immigration court notice. It got lost in the mail and was ordered deported after failing to show up to court in 2018. It's our fault that she didn't get a notice. She just didn't come to court, okay? It's the same MO as every one of them. Ortiz's immigration lawyer requested humanitarian relief from the government, saying she faced danger in El Salvador. Her son The autistic kid would not have access to services for autistic children, so we have to pay for all of it. El Salvador doesn't have to care about it at all. The petition asked for prosecutorial discretion. 12 days later, Trump took office, launched his wide-ranging crackdown. Ortiz's attorney said she got a 30-day extension. She wants to fight the fine. She's a mother of an autistic child. She's got no criminal history. They have all of her background. I think it's insane. Well, yeah, it's insane that she broke into our country illegally, got a final deportation order, is now claiming ignorance of the whole thing. I mean, if she leaves, we'll waive the fine. Lawyers said clients who received the notices also included spouses of citizens who were trying to legalize their status. Rosa, who's a citizen of New York, said her Honduran husband, he got a $5,000 fine. She said her husband wasn't able to leave the country after being granted voluntary departure in 2018. Okay, so he's like, okay, I'll leave voluntarily. But then he couldn't leave because she got cancer. Cancer and autism, man. She hopes once she explains the situation that the fine may be waived. If not, she's gonna have to work many extra hours to pay it. It's one thing after another. This whole process has cost us so much money. Well, that's what happens when you enter a country illegally, you know? Gosh. All right, so autistic kids and cancer patients. Wow. We're horrible people for wanting our borders to be secured. I guess we have to solve everybody's problems everywhere all the time, no matter what, or else we're just bigots. Here is what Stephen Miller said. So Breaking 911 says, this illegal alien in Florida says, I got $1.82 million fine. I didn't leave. I got an order to leave, but I don't want to go.
Don't feel well. This woman, who we will call Maria, says she did not want to use her real name, concerned she could be targeted. But she does want people to know her story.
No deseo ir para atrás.
She told us, I don't want to go back.
Yeah.
She's a mother of 3 children who are American citizens.
Yeah, we know.
She asked us not to show them. Maria arrived from Honduras in February of 2005. 2 months later, she had an order to leave the country.
Order to leave.
After not appearing at a hearing. But she never left. I asked her why she did not go to the hearing.
Yo le dije al oficial, yo no tengo familia.
I told the immigration officer I don't have any family in this country or a specific place to stay. She told me she entered the U.S. through California.
Pero ningún momento me llegaron ningún documento.
I never received any document and they did not know where I was going to be. This month she received this letter at her house in South Florida. She has been fined for more than $1.82 million.
That's a lot.
It says that
Yeah,
the
been here
government
for a long
could
time.
fine an individual, an undocumented individual, daily $500.
Michelle Sanchez is Maria's attorney. She showed us the document Maria received.
They're supposed to say on the date that she was advised, and this is blank because they never advised her of the penalties.
Okay.
So that's going to be my argument.
The 1952 Act has historically rarely been enforced, but in February, the Trump administration announced it will penalize people living in the U.S. illegally under that act.
What she has is an order of removal in her absence.
Is that still accumulating even today?
Yes. It's
So
still
that figure
accumulating.
is increasing.
It could increase. For me, that is absolutely nuts.
Sanchez filed a motion to reopen her client's case last year under a policy of the Biden administration, giving ICE attorneys the discretion to reopen cases and lift removal orders. Have you ever been arrested?
Nunca.
When I asked her if she would voluntarily return to her home country,
Me dolería tanto dejar mis hijos.
it would be extremely painful to be separated from my children. This is their country. This is all they know. Please have mercy. I want to stay with them.
Yeah, please have mercy. She can't even speak English. So she's been here for how long? Since 2005. And this is the consequence of her original action of breaking into our country illegally. She didn't break in with U.S. citizen children. She came in, she exploited the system. Everyone allowed her to do it. She had 3 anchor baby kids, which is a kind of a sad thing to say. You know, you don't want to call human life like anchor baby, but they're citizens. And so that was the scam. That was the grift. Come in here, plop some kids down, and you're just free to do whatever you want in the country because no one cares. Well, we care. We can't have it going on to the tune of 10 to 20 to 30 million people. And so now there are consequences for these actions, right? Just like if you have an old debt or something that is compounding in fees and stuff, you got to be responsible. You got to show up to your court dates. You got to follow the rules in America. It's not a free for all in our country. We have law and order again. So it's not just happening here. Scott Bessent is also going after the cartels and saying we're also going to fine these puppies too with sanctions. Today, the Treasury Department Office of Foreign Asset Control, OFAC, sanctioned 2 high-ranking members of the Mexican cartel called Cartel de Noreste, formerly known as Los Zetas. CDN, one of the most violent drug trafficking organizations in Mexico and a U.S. designated FTO, exerts significant influence on the border region. These sanctions underscore our commitment to target them and other violent cartels. Says, in working toward the total elimination in cartels to to make America safe again, the Trump administration will hold these terrorists accountable for their criminal activities that they have carried out and their abhorrent acts of violence. And so there's going to be a bunch of actions now. They're a terrorist organization, human trafficking, theft, and more. In fact, CDN hit the U.S. consulate with gunfire and grenades in 2022. Wow. These dudes got sanctioned. Miguel Angel de whatever is a high-ranking member in Nuevo Laredo. In his position, he oversees payments, facilitates a lot of things, straw purchasers. Ricardo Gonzalez, residing in Nuevo Laredo, was in the second in command in the CDN prior to his arrest by Mexican authorities. He's arrested. They're sanctioning a dude who's arrested. OFAC's designation was the result of a strong partnership amongst the countries. And here are the implications. All property and interest in property of the designated persons are now blocked and must be reported. Any entities owned or connected to that person are also blocked. Violation of these sanctions by anybody working with these dudes will cause us to sanction you. And looks like a nice development there. So Scott not playing around. The administration's not playing around. We're securing the border. We're tired of the illegal invasion of our country, and there will be consequences for that if you do not leave.